You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
Fixed bayonets, shoulder arms, left face, forward march. When the order came to move on the afternoon of July 2nd, 1863, they were the Harper's Ferry cowards no more. Join us as we explore the maelstrom of battle that these men were ordered into as the Union line wavered on Cemetery Ridge. We're talking about Willard's Brigade on July 2nd, 1863. The tour date is going to be May 27th. That's Memorial Day weekend. We know a lot of people come to town, and so we figured we're going to keep it on Memorial Day weekend because last year we had to switch it to that weekend because Gary and Tim were doing something on the third Saturday, and we figured we couldn't compete with them. But we ended up, actually getting a lot more people on Memorial Day weekend, so we decided to keep that going for May. Willard's Brigade, like I said, we're going to meet at a Ziegler's Grove, so park in the cemetery parking lot or on Hancock Avenue, but always park where legal. Okay, Louis Trott once again with us, and Joe from Peach Orchard Publishing, and let's tell us a little about Willard's Brigade. Why are we doing Willard's Brigade this time?
I just thought it was an interesting brigade to cover. We hadn't covered it before. It provides us an opportunity to walk. I love to walk. So they're an interesting brigade. They have this reputation coming to Gettysburg as the Harper's Ferry's cowards because they surrender there. They had yet to fight, really. Their Civil War action is composed of surrendering at Harper's Ferry to Stonewall Jackson's men. And so they get this moniker attached to them. And it's pretty unfair. But they definitely redeem themselves here at Gettysburg, and we'll talk about that. We'll walk from Ziegler's Grove, that area, down Hancock Avenue, and talk about where they fight. They run up against Barksdale's brigade and part of Wilcox's brigade. So they stop one brigade, and they help stop another brigade. So they do tremendous work. On July 2nd, they lose their commander, Willard. And then on the third day, they lose the next guy that gets put in charge through a wound he sustained. So we'll talk about that and their movement fighting here, and also what happened before the Battle of Gettysburg.
Was it 2 years ago we did... we were over at Malbone Watson's battery.
Yes, they helped recapture his guns too.
Yeah. So this is kind of not completing, but adding to that story.
Yeah, and we're getting to a point that we've done so many of these that they all start to connect.
Yeah.
So, and it's good, especially if there's some people who've been on all of them. Yeah. And I can recognize who's been on all of them. Days. So they'll pick up where everything is connected. So it's kind of neat.
Yeah, it is.
Yep.
So Willard... before the Battle of Gettysburg, what was his service? Was it distinguished in any way? Did he do anything spectacular? I hate to think, the poor guy is most remembered, at least in my mind, for losing his head here at Gettysburg.
Their brigade is known for surrendering at Harper's Ferry because they were new.
And he was with the brigade then?
He was with the brigade.
Wasn't the commander, though?
I have to look all that up.
Yeah.
I haven't gone that far into it. I've started gathering stuff, and it's wintertime when we're recording this. So I've started gathering stuff together for all the tours. As I see them, this is how I usually do it. And then once I get within the 30-day window of that tour, that's when I really start putting everything together. So
you cram.
Yeah, I organize. I prefer organize. I got a lot of junk in my head that goes in and out. And
so do I.
We couldn't remember what's her face.
Exactly.
Ronald Reagan's first wife.
Jane Wyman. Nancy Gorman.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Jane Wyman.
See, it's stuff like that. But I'll have all that when we get to the tour date. And the fight that they put up, they're just snagged by Hancock. Again, Hancock's day is the second day when he's all over the place pulling units. He sends the 1st Minnesota in to help save the line. And by this point, when Willard comes down there, Hancock is in charge of both his corps and the remnants of the 3rd Corps. So Humphrey's brigade has been pushed back. The other part of the line has collapsed. Sickles is gone. So he's just playing fireman.
Yeah.
and pulling stuff from wherever he can to plug these holes.
Willard's brigade is not initially assigned to where they fight.
They're at Ziegler's Grove.
Yeah, they have to move down. Yeah.
Yep.
And then they go back to Ziegler's Grove.
They do, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, again, May 27th, that's Saturday, Memorial Day weekend. We hope to see you guys there. Park where legal. And, hopefully it won't be, well, it's Memorial Day weekend, so it probably will be a full parking lot at the, at the whatchamacallit. What am I trying to say? Cemetery lot. Thank you very much. So, park where legal. Also, there's, off-campus parking.
You can park there. We're going to end up further south.
Yeah.
So if you want to park, let's say down near the Pennsylvania Monument.
There you go.
In that area, that's where we'll end up. So you don't necessarily have to park
where we start.
Yeah.
And that's better, too, because you've already walked twice the distance if you do it that way.
Yeah.
But this time, the second route is right to your car.
Yeah.
As opposed to the second route being to your car when you're exhausted because you parked at the starting point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could work out that way, too. Just it doesn't matter where you park as long as you join us. The tour starts at 10 o'clock on, let me rephrase that. It does matter where you park. It has to be a legal place. But my point is, it doesn't matter where you park as long as you join us. I just said what I corrected, didn't I? I'm sorry, I have a headache.
Jane Wyman.
My point is this. It doesn't matter where your legal parking is. Just as long as you join us, the tour starts at 10 o'clock. I always recommend you get there, 9:30-ish or something like that. So, A, that you can get good parking, but also so that you could, join up and socialize with us because people like to do that. And listen, can I just make a request of everybody? Because this is something I've noticed over the years, especially as the group gets bigger. There's, at some point in the tour, and this is nothing, I know this is nothing against Lewis's tour guiding, but people tend to, splinter off because everybody's got ADD these days, right? Myself included. And they splinter off, and then there's the tour going on, and then there's this big, conversation going on with a small little splinter group in the back. Folks, that's rude. That's rude. And I'm going to ask that we don't do that because Lewis puts a lot of work into this and he deserves our attention. And I know you're not doing it because you're bored. I know you're just doing it because, oh, look, there goes a squirrel. And then you go chasing after the squirrel. And, and also it's really good to see everybody when you don't see each other, for a whole winter or forever, however long it is. You want to get to know each other and everything. Well, that's why we go to lunch together at the Farnsworth House afterwards. So, ladies and gentlemen, hold your conversation, hold your excitement, and join us at lunch. Too many people don't join us at lunch, and it's sad because that's where we really get to have fun. You get to have food. We sit in the beer garden at the Farnsworth House, and we have a really nice time. That's where the socializing should go. When we're getting out of the car and we're going on a tour, it's an adventure, and we're learning because we're nerds. So that's it there. So May 27th.
The last tour we did.
I'm getting a migraine, and when I get a migraine, I might as well have a brain tumor because my I can't freaking talk.
The last tour, October one, that was a huge crowd that showed up at Farnsworth.
Yeah,
that was a big crowd.
Oh,
and that's the longest I've stayed. I stayed till like 2:30.
Well, we had, right. No, that's right. Well, it was the end of the year.
Yeah. But it's fun to go there.
It is fun. And that's a good point. October of last year, we had 105 people. I knew we were going to hit 100 by October. I just felt it in my bones, but I couldn't believe it when the count came back at 105, and that was awesome. And so it's always interesting to see what we start the next season with. Sometimes you start with the same amount or a little more than October of the previous year. So it should be interesting to see what we do. I don't know. I mean, it's just it's super cray-cray. So, but it's awesome too. So anyway, like I said, Willard's Brigade on July 2nd, 1863, May 27th, 10 o'clock in the morning, meeting at Ziegler's Grove, park where legal, and we will see you then and there. Goodbye.
Our hearts so stout have got us fame, for soon 'tis known from whence we came. Wherever we go, they dread the name of Gary Owen in glory. Instead of spa, we'll drink down ale and hail a reckoning on the nail. No man forget shall go to jail from Gary Owen in glory. Instead of spa, we'll drink down